Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is Hairy Muppet, and we are taking a quick break from casting the DreamHack Open Summer Tournament to go and check out this random game that I found in an RSL pack. It's the Russian Starcraft 2 League. Down the bottom right side, it is going to be Liquid Hero, and I don't think I've cast any games of Hero so far, but I have heard some very good things about him. I've heard that he's a very strong Protoss player, so no doubt we are going to be expecting some very good things from him in this game. Now, up the top left side, his opponent is going to be LoWeLy, and again, no, not a player I've cast before, and I haven't heard much about LoWeLy at all. Hero you hear every now and then, oh, he's doing this or he's doing that, blah blah blah, pro player, blah blah blah. And LoWeLy, I have no doubt he is a pro player as well, but I haven't heard that much mutterings on the internet about him. So either he just sticks to RSL local sort of games. He doesn't really go international, or I just haven't been paying attention, and he's come out a lot more recently, because most of my knowledge of the pro players was actually from a couple of years ago, because I was listening to a lot of Husky Starcraft's commentary and stuff like that, so I learnt a lot about all these pro players from them. But yeah, the past 6 months or so, I've been slacking off a little bit on watching his channel, and I've had almost no time in the previous 2 months just because I've been casting pretty much non-stop. So yeah, I can't really say, but I mean, this level of play, man, you can always expect good things from both of the players. We do have this probe coming across here. It looks like he's going for a Nexus. Yep, mineral count is just about awesome. He's got this thing down there, so he may be building a gate over there. It's never a bad idea versus Zerg, because it definitely holds off the Lings, and as soon as you got some army units up, he can do a half decent job of holding up Stalkers as well, and you can basically block off the gap with a single sentry. You just force field it, and it works like an absolute charm. But here we go. Zerg player's getting out his expansion, he's getting out his spawning pool. He actually got that out a bit earlier than the expansion, which you see every now and then. And there we go, one queen out, another queen coming down. So yeah, pretty much going to be fairly standard from our Zerg player. Protoss player, fairly standard as well. He's actually built a lot of his buildings back here, which is quite interesting. Usually you'd go out, get the expansion around this time, but you'd build the buildings out here to make up the gate nice and early. He hasn't done that. He's built all the buildings right behind the command center. Maybe he's trying to weed the Zerg player out to say, hey, I've actually got no buildings. You can come up and you can see there's no buildings. And that'll scare the Zerg player, and he'll spend a lot of effort looking for a proxy Stargate or a proxy gateway or something like that all around his base. And that may be the Protoss's plan, because I do not understand else why he would be hiding these buildings right behind the Nexus. But then again, I mean, he did see the Zealot coming out to attack him, so he knows he's got to have a gateway somewhere. It's a pretty fair assumption to have for the Zerg player. So yeah, the Zealot, he had to chase away the drone to stop him from seeing those buildings behind, but the very fact that he had a Zealot kind of said to LoWeLy, alright, well, he's got some buildings, right? He's not proxying me completely, so yeah, I should be fine. There we go, a couple more scouting Lings. This one just not quite getting away. He almost got there, but not quite. And both players macroing up very, very heavy right now. The Zerg player a little bit ahead, as you would expect, but the Protoss not far behind. It's got this small hit force running around. They're going to go in, but between the queens and whatever Lings that manage to come out in the next few seconds, I think there's going to be more than enough to hold these guys off. But right now they're just scouting around. They just want to see, is there an expansion anywhere? And here comes a proxy pylon. It's very nice. It's got down as the Overlord is quite a distance away, so he's not going to have another scouting Overlord there for a little while, I don't think. It should be fine. These guys, they're not going to push in and attack. They're just going to push back, along with this second Stalker that was coming out. They see the expansions down. I assume they Yeah, he saw the expansion, but that may have been his scouting information from before. So yeah, he's not going to try and attack that. He knows that the number of queens and lings and all that sort of stuff is just going to be too much. And the Zerg player, we've got speed, we've got a lot of drones, and we do have a baneling nest, which is going to be very good. So he may be going for a muta-ling combination of some sort. We'll have to see after this thing gets up to a lair whether he builds a spire straight after that. The Protoss player, meanwhile, he is going for a Stargate. He's building it right up the back by the looks of it. There we go. So the Zerg won't know about it straight away, but if he decides to move this Overlord into Scout, I would not bet on them being able to kill that Overlord before he saw this Stargate, because I mean, even without the speed burst for Overlords, he could even morph this into an Overseer, drop down a Changeling, and then he will almost certainly see it. But what do we got going on? Some Phoenix. So looking for some good Phoenix harass. What is going on? This is a Mothership Core. He's going to take out a few drones and then do a warp back to the main base. So he only got one kill. So yeah, I don't know. He managed to survive, but I'm not sure if that was really worth it. I mean, he got one drone, but yeah, just losing that much health, that Mothership Core is pretty much going to be crippled. And if he mixes it into the main army later on, maybe it should be fine. There we go. Hallucinated Phoenix coming out. It's I don't know. I would say that sending out a hallucinated Phoenix while you're building Phoenix is perhaps not a bad option, because the next time you could send in your Phoenix and they could go over here, they could run over there, run over here, go all the way up there, and you wouldn't bother attacking them with your Queen because you think they're hallucinated, and then they get straight over and they're like, hey, these guys aren't actually hallucinations, man, they're actually killing my Queen. What the hell? But he's going to be better safe than sorry approach here. He's getting a Spore Crawler down at both bases. So as long as the Queen sticks close to the hatchery, she should be fine. But the Phoenix coming in here, they're going to be lifting up some Queens, but there's 3 of the damn things here, so not quite enough Phoenix. They can lift all of them up, but then there'd be no DPS left to take them out. So 3 Queens, just a tad too much for this Phoenix. And bloody cough. Every time I think it's gone, it comes back. Luckily I didn't have it when I was casting the Dream Hack, but yeah, this game, man, I do not know. If you guys know a great remedy for dealing with coughs, I've tried antibiotics, I've tried cough pills. Actually, I've got some cough pills lying around, so I might just grab a couple of them this morning after I finish casting this game, and then I should be right for the semi-final, hopefully. But here we go, Infestors coming out, we've got a Robo Facility coming out, so there's all sorts of fun stuff going on here. And the Phoenix just running around. They might be able to snipe a Queen out here. The Queens are running quite far away. There's a good opportunity to snipe a Queen, but this Queen is in range as well, and the Infestors are coming back, so these guys need to get out of there before they get a fungal shoved on top of them. And yeah, but just doing a bit of a scout. They might know there's already a Spore Crawler down here, so very good job. But here we go, Warp Prism and a whole bunch of Zealots. These guys don't have legs, but Zealots versus Lings still going to be extremely awesome. And it's going to take the Infestors to really wipe these guys out here. Although the Lings are just doing a crap load of damage, they've got more than enough to just completely surround them. Phoenix coming in, going to be doing some damage, but a nice Fungal gets off on them. He's got to warp in a bunch more Zealots down here, but the Fungal down on these guys is just, it's just going to be too much. They manage to survive, they take out all of the Lings, but another Fungal, and the Queen's going nuts on these guys, and that is going to be all she wrote for this very small but very persistent attack force. And I really don't think they did anything but whittle down the Ling numbers. They might have got a Overlord at some point in there, but maybe the pressure play was all that he needed, because he is getting down his 3rd base. And he's definitely put the Zerg on the back foot, so to speak. But yeah, I mean, Zerg on 3 bases is, yeah, give the Protoss another couple of minutes and he will be definitely in a very good spot in terms of his economy. He's 10 behind, but he's going to be catching that up very, very, very quickly. And the Zerg, this is a good time to attack, because in a few minutes, when the Protoss has his 3rd fully up and running, it's starting to get there, not quite, then the Protoss is going to be very strong, and the Zerg will have to get a 4th. He's already getting a 4th now, So he's obviously, I don't know if he's going to go for that timing window. He's just going to sit back and he's going to match the Protoss player macro for macro, base for base, and just keep on keeping on. And we look at this beautiful spread of lings all over the place. There's one there, there's one there, there's one there. So the Protoss cannot go anywhere without the Zerg finding out where he's gone, and also finding out the composition of the Protoss army. He sees the Colossus out there, would not be surprised, but here we go. We've actually got Ultralisks on the way, so he's gone straight up to Hive Tech. He's not going for the Mutaling. I think the Mutaling is sort of out the window now, but Ultraling with Infestor support, very, very strong, very, very potent. And the Protoss, we'll have to see how he deals with these Ultralisks. I mean, yeah. Immortals, very good option, but gateway units, a large amount of gateway units, and even Archons, still very good. It looks like he, did I see a Void Ray up there? I cannot remember. Here comes one Ultralisk. He's going to try and run away. Fortunately for him, they're attacking the hatchery, but yeah, he's not good for him. The Zerg going to counterattack. They're going to move down. They're going to try and flank this Protoss army, but the Protoss, if they start retreating, they'll be in an excellent position to not be flanked. But this army, man, the Zerg army is quite a little bit ahead. They're not so far ahead. This 3-base Protoss army is really starting to kick in with the macro, starting to get a ton of units. The Zerg had about a 30 army advantage there, but that army advantage is slowly going down as the Protoss settles more into this 3-base play, and he's just going to warp out all of his units. Brilliant stuff there. There was no point losing his units there. He's already taken the hatchery down. He'd done what he needed to do. And did this hatchery get taken out? He must have warped in some units there, man. Some awesome, awesome play. I might have to rewind and check that out after the game is finished. Or maybe he cancelled it. I'm guessing he sent some units down, and I really can't say. But we will find out at the end of the game. This is a 16-minute mark, 15-minute mark. What happened to that hatchery? And meanwhile, we're going to keep on with the game, and we are going to see exactly what happens as this game progresses. The Zerg is struggling a little bit to keep his bases up, to keep them going. I have seen this before. The Zerg player's got like 3 hatcheries building at a time, and he's starting to run really, really low on minerals. Protoss player starving, and meanwhile the Protoss player is on 3 bases, and he does not have a problem. He's not getting attacked. So yeah, really, really good job by the Protoss player. And if he continues to keep these bases down, to keep them destroyed, then he is going to be in a very, very good spot. He's got a very nice army here. He's got a few Void Rays. Void Ray is going to be a superb counter to the Ultralisk. They overcharge and they will just shred through Ultras like there is nobody's business. The Protoss player is saying, yes, I am going to expand there, and there's nothing you can do about it. And the Zerg player's got to be like, well, yeah, okay. And you'll see if he can actually do something about it. There's a Warp Prism coming out. A bit unlucky, is going to be spotted by these Lings coming around. So the Protoss player sees the Lings, but the Lings see the Warp Prism. So he is going to be prepared. He's moving a couple of Overlords over there to make sure that they spot the guy, and he's finally going to be taking out this pylon. This one Ultralisk out at the front is too fat to let anybody else attack it, but he's all that he needs to be. And there we go, the Link coming out. He sees the Warp Prism, so he knows exactly where it is. And meanwhile, the Protoss moving in, going to take out this hatchery. So some excellent diversion. He was planning to move the Warp Prism out to do some damage, but when the Warp Prism was seen, he's like, alright, I'll go for this third. And here we go, brilliant play. Warp Prism down, puts in some forces going for this base. So this is just absolutely brilliant. Protoss player pushing out a little bit. Maybe try and keep the pressure on these forces while these forces take out this other hatchery. But he's got to be worried about getting flanked from these forces behind him. I mean, Void Rays are good, but you get some fungal growths down on them, and that is going to just wreck your world completely. And it may be he's trying to get the flank on the Zerg forces. I don't know if he's got enough here to take it out. The Zerg army is pretty strong, and those infestors can do all sorts of damage all over the place. But he's going to have a crack at it. And yeah, the Archon's doing some very good job against these guys. It looks like the Void Rays are attacking the Queens and not the Ultralisk, so a bit of missed micro there. Meanwhile, what have we got going on here? We've got a Nidus Worm or an Ultralisk drop, one or the other, but there's a bunch of Lings coming in here doing all sorts of crap. I think it must have been an Overlord drop. Did I say Ultralisk drop? That doesn't sound right at all. But yeah, doing some really great damage here. However, I don't think there was much mining going on here, and they haven't taken out that many tech structures. That's going to be a bit of a pain in the ass, but the Protoss player should be able to clean this up. And meanwhile, the Warp Prism tried to take out this base while the Zerg was distracted, but not going to happen. The Zerg base keeps this base going for now, but he is basically mining on one base. This base doesn't really count anymore, and the Protoss is pretty much the same. So the Zerg has managed to keep this base up, and we have evened out. But even out is never good for a Zerg player. He always wants to be one base up. He always wants to be that little bit of extra macro going. And yeah, to take it out all those forces, and that fairly successful attack here from the Protoss player. Yeah, it's I don't know, man. I was gonna say the Protoss is still in a good position, but I mean, like, I'm looking at the army tab, and yeah, I guess technically that was a defeat from the Protoss player. He did lose most of his forces there, and the Zerg's macro is just completely nuts. If we have a look at the income, it's not as stupidly high, but he's filling up on lings. His army supply is filling up with lings. And they make a very big scary number, but Lings versus Archons, I really can't say. I don't know if the Zerg has a massive advantage just because of this number. He's got a crap load of Corruptors, which should be able to counter the Void Rays. The Void Rays are technically better than the Corruptors, but I don't think the Protoss will be able to match the Corruptors number for number. So, and unless he gets at least half as many Corruptors as this guy has, it's he's not going to have any chance of beating him. And yeah, when you add in the fungal growth, the Void Rays, I don't think they stand much of a chance. Not really. He's got some high Templar out there, so maybe seeing some storms down, which will be good for the Lings. But I don't know. I mean, I'm going to put my bet on the Zerg player right now, because the Protoss, he really needs a fourth base at this point. I mean, if we have a look at the income, this is 22. This one's getting low. He's not got a really high amount of economy. He's got enough, and the Zerg player has got enough. None of them have got really super high economy going on right now, but they're still doing alright. The Zerg players, the Protoss building 3 Void Rays at once. So that's not a bad thing. But here's a Protoss. Here we go. He's getting down the 4th again, and yeah, there we go. Broodlords coming out. So here we go, morphing the Corruptors into Broodlords. And this is really going to hurt the Protoss player. He's knocking down those rocks behind him, so excellent stuff there. He could possibly get in a flank from the side with the Void Rays to take out the Broodlords, and that would be an excellent option. But he hasn't got much time, and he's wasting it killing these rocks. He wants to get out of there, otherwise he's trapped, so that's not a bad option. Broodlord's actually sort of hitting these guys in. He needs to get the flank on the Broodlords and start taking them out. He really needs, and there we go, there's the Tempest. He's getting one Tempest out. He's got to get a couple more. And this is brilliant play, because the Tempest counters the Broodlords so hard it is not even funny. The Tempest does crap damage to every unit except massive air units, and the Broodlord is a massive air unit. So it basically 3 or 4 shots, these guys. And man, the Broodlords, they did a bit of damage there, but they are going to get owned in the next engagement no matter where they are, because the Tempest has such long range. They do such a massive amount of damage to Broodlords. So that Broodlord attack is just a flash in the pan, and if he continues to go for Broodlords, he is going to absolutely get owned all over the place, even with this extremely large army. So he's going to have to rely on his Banelings, his Ultralisks, all that other sort of fun stuff. And you can see he's getting air weapons, but he's not building a crapload more Broodlords. So maybe he expects the Tempest counter to come out, which would be very smart of him to expect that. But once again, the Zerg player taking down the 4th base of the Protoss, and yeah, the Protoss is on 1 base, the Zerg is on 2, so not a super good position. And there we go, the 1 Tempest hit, the Broodlords are just going to get out of there, so they do not like that action at all. They're just going to go for a bit of a run, and you've still got to remind me, we're going to go back and 16-minute mark, see how this base got taken out. But yes, going out. Really huge army, he's got a bunch of Void Rays, he's even getting an Oracle, he wants to do some base harass. So these guys have a... They go with a Spore Crawler here, there's a Spore Crawler there, so that should be fine. This army's sort of massing up over there. I don't know where the Broodlords are. He's run them quite far away. He wants them nowhere near his main army because he wants them nowhere near the Tempest. And here we go. He's going to try for this 4th base once again. And yeah, if he can keep this up, he really needs to keep it up because yeah, if he can't keep this up, then he is just going to get starved out completely. This 3rd base is starting to look a little bit wasted. The Zerg's still going fairly strong on 2 bases. But here we go, the Zerg is going in. He thinks the time is right to attack this expansion. And yeah, it is right. This Oracle just doing a little bit of scout. And there we go, he's done that sort of ability. I think that just slows down. He can see the vision of all these units. That's what it does. So he can see the vision of all these units as they're coming in. Tempest going for a pot shot, but there's no Broodlords to hit. Actually, there are some at the back. He's got to have to do some nice micro to get these Broodlords. Right now they were hitting the Ultralisk node. That's not a good option. And there we go, 3 shots on those Broodlords, man. Absolutely getting owned. Meanwhile, the ground army is sort of standing back. They do not want to have to deal with the Broodlings, but they are dealing with the infested Terrans. So it's not too bad. He's building up a crapload of units, but the Zerg player, man, he got what he needed to get. He took out the Nexus, or the Protoss, he just cancelled it. And it's going to have to come down to something very, very soon because yeah, the Protoss harassment of these bases was excellent in the mid-game, but it's sort of slackened off right now. He's been focusing all his energy on getting that 4th base down, and it's just not happening for him. And he's not gone out and started attacking the Zerg economy. He's just been focused on the 4th base, and he really needs to focus on this 4th base. And here we go, this guy, he manages to go over the entire Zerg army, and he's like, yeah, actually, I don't think I'm going to stop here. I think I'm just going to keep going. It's this is not a drive-through, this is a drive-by. And meanwhile, a whole bunch of Overlords coming in. There's going to be another Ling Overlord drop. And they're not going to take out any workers, but the Protoss army is so far away. But he has got the 4th base up again. There is one Ling coming out there. The Tempest takes it out. But that Ling showed that the base is coming up again. And meanwhile, he's going to Ling drop down over here. There's cannons left, right, and center, though. There's not many cannons here, though, but he bumps down a bunch of Zealots. And that should be enough. He can always warp in more if he needs to. But that is a lot of Lings, though. That is quite a lot of Lings. The Zealots are going to have troubles, but he really needs to start paying attention. And meanwhile, he's not going to move his forces back, so that's a good decision. He needs to save this 4th base, but he just needs to start. Oh, he's trying to warp in an Archon there. Not quite. These buildings are actually going down. He really needs to get some units in there. He's not starting to move the units back. Here we go. Bunch of infested Terrans coming out there. This base coming down. Once again, the 4th base is going to be destroyed. The Protoss player not doing a good job at sniping the Broodlords with the Tempest. If anything should come out of this engagement, he should at least wipe out the Broodlords. It wouldn't be too hard, and it would be a very, very hard blow to the Zerg army, but instead he's just going to let it run away once again. There we go, he's starting to take out a few of them. The Zerg may be trying to do a push. This is not a good idea. The Broodlords all go down, so that was a mistake by the Zerg player. He should have just run after doing the damage he needed to do with those Tempests around. The Protoss is pretty much just given up his main base. He's given up all the production facilities. He's lost the 4th base once again. And I've got to say, he is long distance mining now. And Hero is got to have lost the game right here. I don't think he has any chance of winning anymore. The 4th base going down. And yeah, he is going out for a suicide push right now to try and do the best he can. He's got a lot of Void Rays, so there's a good counter for the Ultras. But man, oh man, oh man, I do not know if he can do it. He's going to have to basically just wipe out everything. And he's taken out this base, so the Zerg is down to 1 mining base. The Protoss is on 0 mining bases, but he's long distance mining off this one. So if the Protoss thinks he's got the better army, and he goes in right now and wipes everything out, then he might eke out the win. But I mean, this base, how did this base get taken out? Freaking, I keep missing these bases get taken out. Okay, so that's the 33-minute mark. Wow. It's got to be this. I don't think the Oracle can take out a base, man. How am I? It's got to be DTs or something like that. Yeah, there's a DT, man. 2 kills, that's probably like hatcheries for both of them. Ling's coming out there. This hatchery, man, this Nexus just taking years and years to get built, man. It's so bad. And the Lings trapped up here for now. They do not want to run down into the cannons, but they're going to try and Overlord drop into the 3rd base maybe. Or just finish off these buildings and then Overlord drop into the 3rd base or even the 4th base. Protoss army, man, he's got to move out. He's not building any more units right now. I don't think he can recover. He has taken out this base, so he has bought himself a little bit of time, but he's got to get out there. He's got to do some stuff. And look at this massive Corruptor army, man. Overcharge the Void Rays. There we go. Massive amount of damage being done down, but the fungal growth on the Void Rays, I think, is going to spell the end for this Protoss army. However, the Void Rays just completely obliterating all of the Corruptors. These armies going to go down. The Infestors are out of energy, and the Void Rays have still got some life. There's so many of them, and the Corruptors just did not have the damage. The Zerg is in turn going for his suicide push. He's going to go down, and he's trying to warp in some guys, some High Templars in there. He's going to get an Archon coming up, and that buys just enough time to get these Ultralisks out, to take these Ultralisks down. So very, very good job there. And man, oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man. Excellent job there by the Void Rays, the massive Void Ray army, exactly what he needed. He tried to get Corruptors, but that was not what he needed. He needed Hydras or something like that to counter this, but even the Archons would have done some damage to the Hydras. But there we go. That was a very, very, very awesome victory there. You can see the Protoss not too far ahead of the Zerg, but he's got absolutely no harvesters, so most of that supply is actually army. And considering that they're all Void Rays, the Protoss player, I think he's got a very, very good chance to win here. I'm not sure what the Zerg can do. The Zerg is completely tapped out. This hatchery has got back up again, but he's only mining off one base. The Protoss has got this up, so his workers are quite down, but the Protoss, all he needs to do is go in there and finish him off. I don't think he's going to have too much problems from the Zerg player right now. The Zerg's madly getting up a bunch of Lings, but Lings cannot attack air, so this is not going to help him too much. He's actually, I think he's just building a crap load of Queens. Queens are not going to help him either, because the Void Rays are just overcharged. I'm guessing his game plan is to run past the Protoss army, get in here, destroy this base, hope to pull the Protoss back to defend his own base, and meanwhile the Zerg will get up this other base, try and get his economy back on track. He hasn't really lost any production buildings, they're all there, so as long as he can keep the Protoss back at his own base, defending his own base, he should be fine. But the Protoss moving in here, he needs to send the Lings out, to pull the Protoss back to his own base. And there they go, they're all running off. They're actually going for this ground force. That is not a good decision, not versus Archons. Those Lings just get wiped out. They could have done so much more damage back here. But then again, what's the chance the Protoss would actually sacrifice this offensive and move back to defend his own base? He probably would just go all in at this point and just absolutely wipe out all of the Zerg buildings. But here we go, a couple of Spore Crawlers trying to do some damage. The Infestors are all out of energy, and LoWeLy is going to give the GG there. So that was absolutely awesome, awesome play from the Protoss player. It was, there was like 3 times in there. 3 times in that bloody game where I said, you know what, the Protoss has lost the game, man. And somehow he kept in there. I gotta say, Void Rays did save him. Did save him quite well. And the fact that the Zerg had such a huge army, but it was mostly Lings and stuff like that. I mean, the Zerg was a bit of a pain when he had the Broodlords, but a beautiful counter by the Protoss with Tempest, and Tempests are just so overpowered when versing Broodlords. It's just not even funny. So, I gotta say, in a Zerg versus Protoss, I am still really, really surprised that anybody even bothers to get Broodlords anymore. It's got to be the same in Protoss versus Terran, man. Why would you bother getting battle cruisers when Tempest just completely F them up so easily? It's not even funny. So yeah, there we go. But we are going to move back right now. We're going to check out those bases going down, because I did miss quite a few of them. So we want to go back to the yeah, so you see this base is there, and then it's gone. Why did this base get cancelled? I really don't know. There's got to be some DTs coming in or something like that. Yeah, I'll speed it up a little bit. Go. What happened here? What happened? Come on. This base definitely disappeared. I know it disappeared. What happened? Ah, a bunch of dollars. There we go. So that is absolutely extraordinary by the Protoss player. Oh man, they were so close to not getting that expansion down, but yeah, excellent job. Ah, I think... Oh, this was just a warp. I thought there was yellow there, but it was just a warp. So where was the other one there? The other... There we go. There's happily mining expansion. It's exactly the 30-minute mark, and somehow it disappeared. And I never figured out why, so we're going to watch that one as well. Here's the ling drop over there, right into cannons. This is where this base just gets completely obliterated. But this base, how does it disappear? It is a complete mystery to me. There's a warp prism. He's got, what has this guy got? Two immortals, man. Oh, that is overkill to the nth degree, man. Immortals versus a hatchery. How can the hatchery compete? But yeah, we go. He jumps it right up the top. The Zerg player must know about this, man. He must know about it. He's not gonna drop it off at the high. No, he's gonna drop it off over there. There we go, man. They're gonna take out some guys then. The Zerg is way too committed to this attack, so he does not have any chance. You could get up some lings. These lings, they're not doing anything. But the Immortal's just going to go through. And sooner or later, there we go, they're attacking the hatchery. These lings going to try and do some attacks, but they've got no chance at all. They might actually take out one of the Immortals, man. That is, yeah. But the Immortals take out the hatchery. And, man, an Immortal drop to take out hatcheries, man. That is something I have never ever seen before, but my god, is it effective or what, man? That is one of the most effective hatchery kills I've ever seen. Bunch of zealots coming out, yeah, good, but Immortal drops, man. And they just plow through the spine crawlers as well. I mean, if you got a bunch of zealots coming down, spine crawlers, you know, they do quite a bit of damage. The Immortal's just like, you know, whatever, man, I'm just going to take you out, it's all good. And drops from the Protoss player, man. Really did help him. Did help him with this victory. Unfortunately, running a warp prism into all those corruptors did not help in the slightest. But everybody makes mistakes sometimes. So anyway, that is going to be it. I'm going to pause the game there. Thank you very much for watching this epic 1v1 game between Hero and LoWeLy. It was epic, and it was back and forward all over the place, and man, I feel sorry for the expansions in this game because they just got absolutely ripped over and over again. This expansion, man, is like on his 5th life or something like that, and he is just, man, the ground, this shouldn't be green, man, this should be blue. It should be covered with Protoss blood all over the place, because, yeah, that's just nasty. But yeah, we are going to go back on later today, and we're going to start casting the semi-finals of the Dream Hack. So the quarterfinals will be uploaded by now, but the semi-finals will be coming out very soon. And then, of course, after the semi-finals come the grand final. And I've actually got I've got the Zotac May monthly cup to do after that. So it's tournament after tournament. All awesome games all over the place. So check it out. It's going to be coming very soon. And yeah, my channel is awesome. You guys know it. So please subscribe if you haven't already done so. And I will catch you guys later. This has been Hairy Muppet.